Right.
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
What's up, y'all?
I found my watch.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you have a
That's
timer
good.
now?
I do have a timer now.
Cool,
so
because
that's
I didn't set ours yet.
That's okay. I got it.
Okay, cool.
I got it in an hour.
Cool. Do you have your notes? You don't look like you brought notes.
I don't have my notes. I have them in my head.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we'll figure out. We'll see how well that works out.
Cool.
Anyway, but this is your deal though. This is your idea.
This was my idea.
Yeah. So.
I mean, it was.
So. Not so sure now.
The last time you brought it up, it was just like, am I really to dive into it? And I am, because I mean, it's my experience, right? And I shouldn't let that, and all of you beautiful people who watch us, not allow that, like me, to try and speak my personal feelings or beliefs. So.
And it doesn't really matter if they agree with it or not.
Right.
Because for sure, I've said a lot of shit on here that people probably don't agree with.
Well, right, and unless they're like a big phrase that I've always had in the back of my head about like opinions, and I really gotta like hold myself to it sometimes because like otherwise people's opinions will wreck you, and I've been known to do that. But unless they're feeding you, fucking you, or financing you, their opinion don't count.
For sure. And some of those are kind of interchangeable.
I mean, well, right. But I mean, if you got someone who's willing to do all three.
Yeah. For
that's the opinion like you should lean into. But if they don't have that sense of space of your private life, then it really shouldn't matter. So, anyways, our topic for today, what was it? At least over a month ago now, I saw a post, picture, meme thing on Facebook, and it kind of just struck me in a way on my spiritual path. And it was just basically saying that witches, or like the meaning for witches, is just a wise woman. And like really diving into that is just like, okay, you have like the Hollywood idea, right? The big archetype of a witch, or whatever, the different portrays of a witch, which is like you're casting spells, you're doing dark magic, or you're a good witch and you have good intention, and like that perspective of it, like you're taking these things and making potions and falling in love spells and like all this stuff. And Hollywood has really played it out that that's what it is. But what is it really?
Are you asking?
I mean, I know you know. Yeah. Like you have an actual definition in there.
I don't have an actual definition, but I would like, before we like talk about anything further, I would like to point out that I think that the word witch is what is the trigger topic if most people are honest, not the actual actions of people that practice in that realm.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, because nobody really like bats an eye or has like negative connotations to like, if you were to see like I can't remember what I was watching a movie, and they had like a Native American like healer like in the movie, and she like helped this guy like heal his body and like whatever. Nobody raised a flag at that. Nobody looks at that and it's like, oh, that's evil. That's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the connotation of that is like, oh, this is what this is supposed to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like, I feel like a lot of people's like hang up with when you go more into like the Wiccan witch, like lifestyle thought process, whatever you want to call it, is that word. I think that if that word didn't have so much negative connotation put on it for years and centuries, I don't think it would be as stunning's not the word. but like it would be as like ooh, like sort of thing.
Yeah, like ooh, you're
I think
into
it would be
the
seen
woo-woo.
Yeah, I think it would be seen slightly closer to like ritualistic and like even people that do like the ayahuasca ceremonies and like stuff like it would be seen more closely to that than it
as
is
a
of
healer.
like, than it is of like this is a really negative, dark,
or we're worshiping the devil.
Demonic thing.
Satanism.
Yeah. To which I don't need my notes for this because I've said this for years, but to which is funny to me because we can get into other stuff that goes with this. But what's funny to me is that most people don't know the difference. They just see it all wrapped as one, like the witch part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's only because of how it's been portrayed and pushed by not just media over years span. So I'm talking like newspapers, messengers, movies, radio shows, like shit like that. But also like how it was pushed in societal wise, and that's over time. That we've gotten to that. And whereas at its root, and I'm not saying there aren't negative people. I'm not saying there aren't like evil people that have impure intentions and stuff and ruin it for the rest of whoever. But historically, up until I'm gonna get this wrong, but it's rough estimate. Up until the 13th, 14th century, witches and the connotation wasn't really mainstream in a way of like all people that do this certain type of thing are witches.
Mm-hmm.
It was in a slew of different religions and spiritualistic journeys and stuff like that of like they all are under this kind of umbrella of like the
like mysticism.
Like the naturalistic healers. Like it was all under the same umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I'm gonna get that wrong. It's somewhere close to that 13th, 14th century ish. It was kind of seen by most of the rising like Catholic and Christian like religions as this side thing, kind of like as it's being like as most people think about it now. But it wasn't like it wasn't as like separated. It was kind of like the difference between like a Green Bay fan and like or a Green Bay Packer fan and like a Vikings fan.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're still in the NFL, but like I don't like you, you don't like me. We just kind of like, you know what I mean? Like we're not killing each other because you're on a different team. It's just kind of like we don't. Like that's how it was up until, like I said, like the 13th, 14th century, until they put can't remember what it was called, but basically the Catholic religion pushed through most of Europe into
Ireland.
Yeah, and then they pushed it as Catholicism and Christianity was the main religion. So all of these other religions kind of took a back seat to it of like all these other things are heretic religions in that. So you still are under that umbrella, but now you're seen as like a very negative umbrella. Whereas before it was kind of like they do their thing. They have natural healing. We have Band-Aids. You know what I mean? Whereas now it was like Band-Aids are the only way you can heal people. And they pushed that because their religion was the religion, which obviously moved all through Europe. And then when we came into the United States, moved into the United States too. But then there were still people practicing it because obviously, as we know, when Columbus and other settlers came over to America, America was populated by Native Americans who long lineage of natural holistic healing.
Shamans and healers.
Yep. And so we can't coming into somebody else's territory, we can't really be like, that sucks. That's not how we do things. You know what I mean? So like as far as the religion, the Christian religion moved through Europe pretty easily because there wasn't those separations. Like for the most part, it was kind of like mainly white people that didn't really like, you know what I mean? So like pushing that religion really wasn't that hard. But coming into America, pushing that religion is hard because now you have an entire like country at the time
mm-hmm.
who all had the same understanding, who all had the same holistic understanding, the shamans, that's how they did things. So then it kind of settled over here in America for a while up until they started making a push again, which that pushed into the Salem witch trials around the 16th century.
Mm-hmm.
Because then they were able, which there's a lot that ties into that. I'm not going to spend the whole time on it, but I could, but I'm not going to. But like in that era, women were starting to get other ambitions, for lack of a better term. So like they were kind of showing that they were more than just barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen.
Well, right, I mean? Or like serving the family. They were learning how herbalism and how to read and that kind of thing. Which
gave, in my opinion, one way of the religious aspect of it to where that's frightening, especially in a 99, I would say, male dominated world, not just country, but world, like leaders, Christian leaders, like people who make decisions, people who write books, like women weren't allowed to do pretty much anything.
We weren't educated.
Like, and so when you get women that are educated in whatever way, or are educated in a different way than the males around them are, it's scary for those.
Intimidating.
For those, yeah. Because then you go, oh, maybe they can do. Maybe they don't. I would like to think it was more of a maybe they don't need me thing than I don't know how than a more demeaning way that it's portrayed at that time. I think it was more of a like, I'm the man, I get to make decisions, I can run my life, and then when you start to realize that you don't have absolute control,
right?
Then it's like, oh shit, like what am I gonna have to compromise on? What is she gonna, if she gets smarter, she's gonna know I'm lying to her. She's gonna know that what I'm telling her is bullshit. Then I won't, you know what I mean? So there's that aspect just as the male population at the time in general. But then when you think about leaders and especially religion, and this is kind of where it turns, you get the same thing, but on a religious context. If you get women that can heal, this is an exaggerated example, but if you have women at home that naturally, holistically, with herbs and spices and stuff like that, can fix a broken leg, they don't need to go to your church to pray for healing. You know what I mean? So that takes away from you. That takes away from your dominion over that thought process of like, of like, they need to come to this organization to get this from me. If they can learn to do it on their own.
But that's the thing. We were doing that for so many years, going back and back and back. We lived like naturally cycles with the earth. We followed the stars and the planets in the sky, and they were our compass, right? And like you have the control of the elements, understanding earth, air, fire, and water. They all have different meaning and grounding and different holistic properties. Then you spiral into herbalism, which all plants have healing properties, different ways of doing different things for you. So you have all of those things. You have good intention with all of those things. You have the power. You have you it's not that like you're in control, but you're able to read. You're able to go through and read the room and understand what could balance it. Or you can look at someone who is really shitty and full of inflammation because of some whatever thing. You can give them plant medicine that's going to take that inflammation out of the body and like find the root cause of what's ailing them. They're going to have a chance of surviving. They're not going to need that organization. And we've had that.
But in the same context as now, there's a big gap between the Salem witch trials and now. But the same as now, where I feel personally of why a lot of people are retreating back towards that side, like the holistic healing and natural herbs and like things like that. Personally, I feel the same twist that happened during the Salem witch trials is I feel like the reverse of what's happening right now. Is that I feel like people are understanding that I don't need a manufactured pill that I don't know what else is in it. When I can do this, that's all natural, that'll do the same thing.
Right.
I don't need to whatever because I can do this.
We're not depending on the systems anymore. We're cycling and opening ourselves back up
to where again, there's another outlook, there's another bash on that way of life because that disrupts.
Yeah, we're granola or crunchy.
Yeah, that disrupts, the medical industry, the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah.
Because now all of these things that we've been dependent on for so long, because of that time frame when the Salem witch trials happened before and after, because all of those people that were teaching us growing up their ways of doing things kind of got cut to where we got dependent on, okay, take this thing. Doesn't matter what it is, take it. Oh, that makes me feel better. Okay, do this. Oh, that makes me feel better. And it was quick, easy.
And that convenience. And now there are people who are struggling in their later in life years, looking to the doctor for the answer. Give me the answer. Give me the fix. And I have personal experience in this. I've witnessed people do it. Well,
it's just a painkiller.
It's just another pill to your system, and then you're strung out on 10 different medications, and one's counteracting the other, and then you're taking another to counteract those side effects, and the other one's not even working anymore because of the 5 other ones on this hand.
It's a guess, and it's become a dangerous guess. Because even I had this conversation with my mom about depression medication. Depression medication is a guess. Because, one, it's a guess for how much you need to level yourself out in itself, initially. But then, depression can be like string symptoms from something else. And if you give somebody depression medication that has schizophrenia, that has bipolar, that has these other things that kind of depression kind of comes down from, your depression medication is going to make this worse, is going to make this worse, is going to make this worse. Whereas if we looked more towards treating or figuring out, even, it's not even about treating. Most doctors don't even want to figure out long term. They just want
they want to hand you your script.
You have depression. Okay, take this. I don't care if you have bipolar. I don't care if you have these things. Depression, happier, have a good day. But long term, if you have these other things, which we know now, if you have these other things and you get a depression medication, it can make these things worse, which show up in the same way as somebody that struggles with depression and anxiety. There's no way to tell without taking time to like really figure it out. And so it's just a guessing game with medications that fuck with your brain. Whereas, like, in my opinion, the natural remedies and natural things that we can do and use for those things is a less damaging guessing game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be strung out. You're not going to be on 50 different medications.
Well, yeah, you're not seeing the side effects of those altercations. Not that we're saying, like, at any point we are not medical professionals and don't listen to our opinions on any of this. But it's not like I say, okay, I have heavy inflammation, I take Tylenol every day. Well, okay, instead of taking Tylenol every day, I can use the medicinal properties of ginger, which is anti-inflammatory. I can use turmeric is another one, and you can buy powders. You can get the roots whole and grind them up, put them in tea. Turmeric's actually a good one for a lot of things. It is for pain, inflammation, so many more things. But like a lot of it, like I lost my train of thought. But it's like stopping the ibuprofen or the Tylenol ibuprofen for the inflammation and the pain and taking that, but then also like not laying around all day. Am I strengthening my body? Like, am I making sure like I'm fixing the root of where the pain is coming from more than anything? And I don't think we get enough. I think like people bringing awareness, like whether it's tying their spirit, like, because I think it's just a slow, like, okay, now that we've done some history and backtrack, what is a witch to you? Because we've done Hollywood, we've done history. I think there's I don't like mainly I probably if I were to really dissect it, probably because of how it's been portrayed. I don't like the connotation for the word witch. I think it's unneeded. But I would say it's more closer to that shaman area of like naturalistic and more so than, in my opinion, more so than the like the herbs and spices and stuff and like and stuff like that. More in the vein of like the thought process, the spiritual journey, the awakening, so to speak, awakening of it. Yeah, I think that would I would lean more towards that. Yeah, because and I've said this before. Whatever people believe in, you can believe whatever you want. I don't really care. I'm not telling you should. But in my opinion, it's that connection to the earth and the space, and not space, but the space, and like your surroundings and grounding yourself and all of that, I think does more, if people can use it and understand it, I think does more for people than a certain type of religion, in my opinion. Because I feel like we're meant to be in that space. And that's why it's different. That's why it was different for me. And that's why like there's a lot of that I believe in, is because I feel more grounded in that space than I have exploring other religions and spiritualities. Yeah. So my definition, real world, of a witch would be just somebody that is in tune and pushes towards a naturalist, not really naturalist, a grounded, like earthly, like involvement. Okay. I don't know how to. No, that's fine. That's good. I don't know how to explain that the way I wanted it. It's okay. But basically being grounded in the world around you. Yeah, you're aligned with the universe. Yeah. Kind of. Yeah. Like my idea of a witch is a spiritual person, but like not like they're okay. My idea of it is like ritualistic and like natural cycles. You're working with the earth. You're more holistic. Like, but it branches off in so many different areas because there's herbalism. There's anything is magic. Anything. if you have like an awakened person is which, like that's what I'm basically boiling down to. And I read that in the shaman book I'm reading right now too. Like their idea of a shaman is just anyone educated in something and like willing to use the intention of it in the awakened like state.
Going back to my point about the word. What is the difference? And I'm not really asking you specifically, I'm saying in general. What is the difference between somebody who is able to walk in a room with somebody that they've never met and be able to feel somebody's spirit and be able to be like, this person is going through this and needs this type of connection, whatever you want to call that. Okay, what's the difference between that and somebody and I'm going to pick on Christianity, the difference between somebody that walks into a church and goes, that person needs prayer. You know what I mean? There's no difference. It's just the word. It's just the word that we put on it. You know what I mean? It's just the connotation that we put on it.
Right.
If I were to be in the church and I would feel this overwhelming sense of, I don't know, whatever emotion you want to say, they would say that I'm filled with the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
But if I say that as an outsider of Christianity and be like, the universe is talking to me in this way that I need to do this, that's looked at as, well, you're one of those people. You know what I mean? That was kind of the point I was making about the word itself.
Mm-hmm.
Is that's my biggest hang up, is that all of these things, in my opinion, don't matter.
No, all of these labels on it.
Yeah, all of these words and labels don't really matter, because all of these things that we're talking about are the same things that everybody's looking for. Everybody wants a connection. Everybody, the same prayer, I've said this for years. Prayer is different for everybody, but it's different for everybody, but it's the same for everybody too.
Yeah.
We're all putting something into something, whether that's to God, to the universe, to the earth, to any God you want to say. We're putting a want or a need up to something.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it's called. It doesn't matter what you're calling it. It's all the same process.
Well, it's just like even like taking an awakened person in like my concept of it is like you have an awareness of the present moment, right? Your actions in it, how you play in your world, but also the collective world around you, right? And how to put your best intention forward. Growth aspect continuing. That would be an awakened person in my eyes, right?
Yep.
But also, as like we've touched base on in previous podcasts, where like the Kabbalah and the Tree of Life and everything starts from a godlike consciousness, and we trickle down into the material world. I'm getting so many fucking chills right now.
I had to add on. I was going to bring this up later.
So it's just like, so no matter what way you spin it, what label you have on it, like Christianity and different religions have a lot of rules around it, whereas spirituality, witchcraft, like they're kind of on their own basis, own understanding, higher power connection, or the universe. Like that's all in.
There's no middle. I don't know how to word that. There's no real middleman. There's no penance,
right,
with everything else.
Yeah.
Whereas, like with Christianity, and I'm going to touch on what you just said too, but with Christianity, there's a middleman. There's a penance. There's a you have to do these things,
right,
to be able to connect the call. So to speak, you know what I mean? Whereas, like other religions don't have that. There is something else that you're pushing to, or talking to, or communicating with, but there's no in between.
Right.
There's no like, I have to do this thing, whatever. But to what you just said, fuck, I just had it too. I forgot what you were saying. Oh, Tree of Life.
Yeah.
But also with that, I feel the older I get, the more research I do, the more, and this could change, and this is part of what I tell people, that it's okay to change. It's okay to feel different things. It's okay to grow.
That's the only constant in life, everyone. Yeah, so big secret job.
So like there's a big side note to what I was about to say. But there's a big thing of like people digging up stuff from like 12, 20 years ago on people and being like, well, you said this and you're saying the complete opposite of what yeah, because you grow, you change, you figure it out. You like, you know what I mean?
I've seen reels on TikTok like that too. Like girls calling it like showing up and being like, okay, I'm sorry, like, but I'm gonna throw it out there, like, I can change in a week.
Yeah.
My opinion can change. Am I gonna come on here and like completely cut me down and apologize for the thought or the vocalization I had last week?
I think that's healthy. I've always thought that was healthy. I think that growing and figuring stuff out and doing your own research and all of that is healthy. It's healthy for me to look back 10 years ago and be like, I can't believe I believe that, or be like, oh yeah, I still think kind of the same way as I did, but like it's okay. But anyway, it's just my own thing. But I think that there's an indoctrination part of that stems into the push of Christianity in American culture, because there are things that like I said in the beginning about us migrating from Europe over here.
Mm-hmm.
We can't just come in and be like, you're going to follow our religion now, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to give them a reason. You got to give them kind of like a middle ground, right? Mm-hmm. Where that's where I feel like modern Christianity kind of doesn't know its roots and where that came from, is because they took parts of different things, like the solstices, like the
altars,
the star,
the merkin and frankincense,
myrrh, all of that. They take certain parts that other religions at the time or spiritualities look at and go, oh, we know that one. Mm-hmm. We know that part. Okay, so I'll see what they have to say. And it's just became a common thing now. And because of the negative connotations to all the other stuff that they didn't want, like there's a word, like the star.
Yes. The pentagram. Yeah. Pentagram.
That wasn't initially a negative thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was based in an ideology of the four elements in you, mm-hmm. with the tree of life. Everything is together.
Mm-hmm.
You are connected with the earth and all its four elements and the tree of life, which is where it came from. But because of the connotation with that spirituality, religion, whatever you want to call it at the time, it was flipped into a negative thing. Of like, no, these people, this is the symbol of these people that are negative. And over time, I shouldn't say nobody's questioned it, but over time, it hasn't got flipped, and it's gotten publicized in movies and songs and stuff, and even clothing, to where like nobody wants to go. Normal people don't want to go back and do history on what they're looking at. You know what I mean? Like they're just going to go with the first thing that they know.
Yeah.
Which, if that is the social ideology of that symbol, most people are going to look at that and be like, oh, I know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
When that's not what it was in the beginning. And that's not what it was meant to. The same as, here's your history lesson, and I'm going to give a rough time frame. It's not 100%. I'm going to say it's not 100%, but it's roughly about the same. Jesus was not born on Christmas.
Yeah.
He was born in the summer.
Yeah.
The reason why Christmas is in December is because of the winter solstice.
Yes.
Because that is the changing of the seasons.
Yeah.
The same as there's some leeway here, okay? The same as Easter.
Yeah.
He did not rise in Easter in the spring, but it's the spring solstice. Every major event that Christianity, pretty much every major, there's some in between that don't follow this, but every major thing that we celebrate in the Christian faith lines up with the solstices because of paganism.
Yes.
Which, because you're blending the two things to get more people to follow your religion. If they go, we practice this, and you have a story that's kind of semi close to it, you can get people to be like, oh yeah, we celebrate this thing during this time too. Yeah, cool. Okay, so yeah, you're kind of like us. Well, you know what I mean?
We'll be friendly.
But again, nobody thinks to look back on that because we don't need to, because we're told, every person, we're told when we are itty bitty born, that Christmas is on the 25th of December. Christmas is for Jesus being born. That's all Christmas is. We have snow, we get presents. If you don't believe in Jesus, you believe in Santa, comes the same day, kind of same thought process as Jesus. So we're all in agreement here. 25th, we're all celebrating the same thing. When the only reason that date exists for that is for the indoctrination of all the people that weren't following that religion in general. Also, I'll make a point about paganism, which I think is really funny. I said this to Cheryl because this is
oh, don't you start laughing.
Because this is, don't start laughing.
No, she's just going to get squawky and it's going to be loud.
This is hilarious to me. So I understood that paganism in relation to like Christianity and other things was like the outsiders. I always put that as like that's what paganism was. It was just like every religion that didn't follow this or whatever. You know what the actual definition of pagan is? Rustic, old.
Yeah.
So literally,
old religion.
Hebrew is paganism. Is a pagan religion. Because it's an old religion. That's literally all it means. It just means old. So I just thought that was funny. Because the word rustic made me laugh. Because I thought of like rustic.
We in the woods. Yeah. We in the woods. That's great. That's epic.
So how I'll flip a different question.
Okay.
Because I can go on historical tangents about this forever. But so how has that changed for you? Coming from figuring out a spiritual journey and kind of where you land and things.
Okay. Now. Well, I was baptized Lutheran.
You can sum up. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know. No, and I did like Sunday school for a while when I was a kid. By the time I hit my adolescence, I was over the concept of God, and a lot of it had to do with no consistency in a religious organization. And a lot of other things were like my grandparents were very religious, and you need to pray to God for this and you need to do this. And then in all the trauma that I experienced, I would do that.
And it wouldn't do anything.
And nothing happened.
Yep.
And I'm just like, okay. I don't know that I'm doing it wrong, so I just stopped believing. And then I attempted suicide at 15, and I was locked up in the hospital. And my dad was like, you don't have to believe in God, but you have to believe there's something bigger than you out there. And my steady, constant, but always changing thing was the moon. And I always followed the moon. And I did through so many hard times in my life. So I would say probably like 6-7 years ago, I kind of just started digging. And
why it was important?
And why, like, I've always asked why or like what's out there, but I've never like dived as deep as I have been, where I'm reading different spiritual books, different histories. Like I have shamanism, I have mysticism, I have this like wild woman who runs with wolves book, and it's all stories that were told way back in the day, but have been lost throughout history because we no longer share stories and tell stories. And like for that book for me is so powerful is because like there are things as women like we lose and we come back to find, and we're like not beat down by the patriarch, but
but pretty close.
Mm-hmm. And it's just like these stories, had we been learning them all our life, we'd be in our wild woman era. We'd know maiden, mother, crone, and we'd be on that journey, and we'd understand that we're going to be naive up into a point, and then we're in this mothering phase, and then we go into this crone, and a crone, like, you think about that's like an old hag in the woods, right? And you think of every old lady who's sitting there dyeing her hair and beautifying herself and trying to wish herself younger, instead of just owning that archetype and that matriarch of, I am wise, I am in this power of being
but
me.
I feel like that part is what's lost, and not just for women, but I think for men as well, in my opinion, is that part of it, of sharing the wisdom,
the stories, and the connection through it.
Well, not just being the wisdom, but sharing the wisdom.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like there are plenty of people that have stuff to give and advice to give and stories to tell and all of this that just don't. They just get old. And then they're gone, and nobody, except for like the few people they've told a story to, maybe, or photos, those things just get lost. Whereas before, that was a passing of the torch. Like it, short of like immediate death, like something happening, like that was a part of getting old. Is that you had the wise person of your tribe or people or whatever that would share their wisdom with people, and it was not a burden. It was I can't think of the word. It was a privilege.
Yeah.
And like
but it was an honor for the elders too.
An honor. That's what I was saying. That's what I was getting at. To pass their wisdom to the next people. Where I feel like that's kind of stopped. To where now we're looked. Maybe it's portrayed somewhere and pushed on a societally from somewhere, but I feel like it's thought of like nobody wants to hear my stories. Nobody wants to hear like an old person talk about like the good old days.
Well,
but also where do you get things from? Like, you know what I mean? If not,
I mean, to side note on that, it's where's the time and the care and the effort towards our elders?
Yeah.
Like in the society that we live in now, it's more necessary and I'm gonna say convenient, but also life circumstances and how we have to. We live paycheck to paycheck. So it's just like having that family home where it's 3 generations deep, where you have grandma upstairs and she's helping with the littles, and the parents are working, but they're also helping take care of their parents.
Yep.
Like we don't get that anymore. We get nursing homes and assisted livings and
you know what I mean?
And like the caregivers, they're doing what they can, but it's for a paycheck. And if you find them really good ones, you're awfully blessed. And then it's just like, I struggle myself in the time and place that I live. Like I call my mom every other day, every day. But she lives a half hour away out of town. And it's only a half hour. But really to pack up and organize and like shut down my day here to like my days off consist of cleaning and catching up with my daughter because I don't see her like the whole day that I'm working and she's at school. So it's like catching up with her in the morning and making sure the house is tidy and then getting her to school and back and then coming home. It's like my day's already done because now I got to do dinner. So it's like trying to just like, you have to be intentional. And that's how our elders are getting forgotten, because we're not being intentional. We're not listening to their stories. We're not listening to their wisdom.
It's one of the best things, and it kind of played into why I wanted to start doing this podcast in general, but at the beginning, but and like we've said, like that part of it is kind of lost on like normal people in society right now. But I love that. Like I remember even when I was little, like I love sitting around hearing people tell stories. Like I love sitting around talking to people. I used to sit. I had the privilege of sitting with my great grandma, and mainly grandma because my great grandpa died pretty early in my childhood. But just to hear stories, like not even like anything pertinent. Like I wasn't walking away from my great grandma's house every day being like, whoa, like this huge epiphany or whatever. But just like listening to her tell stories and like what happened, and like I enjoy that shit. And I feel like we're pushed, and again, I don't know where that comes from. I'm sure it comes from somewhere, whether it be societal or we're just too busy, we think. But
or you don't know how to ask, because like when I'm sitting in it remembering, like I wanted to ask my grandma, like Opie was born and I drive her out at least once a month, if not twice a month, to see her. And that was the first 2.5 years of Opie's life, and I not once asked the deeper questions. Like, tell me more about your life. Tell me more about your childhood. Like, I asked where her and Grandpa went fishing, their favorite camping spots, and like that kind of thing.
The things you really want,
but not like the deep. Like, I knew she was from Illinois, but like I don't know what she was raised around or like who took care of her. Those really deeper questions that you want to know or you should know. Like, those are my biggest regrets.
But this is my biggest, like, I am hopeful for the fact that podcasts in general are like becoming like a huge thing. I was thinking about this yesterday. I'm interested to see how this goes the next couple years, because podcasts had like a huge boom, right? Because we're all predominantly of COVID, because we're all inside. We all have nothing to do.
Yeah.
So sitting around watching 3 hours of people talk about shit was more digestible because we weren't doing anything anyway. So it's not like you have to like a 3-hour podcast is rough to get through. I'm gonna go ahead and say I get it, but those are the kind of podcasts I listen to. I like long, like drawn out podcasts because it takes a while, and without having like a connection like me and you do, or like my parents, or like even me and Cheryl, it takes a long time to kind of get into a comfortability with somebody to where you're actually talking. You know what I mean? Like
being vulnerable.
Well, I like to say like barroom conversations are easy because you know you're gonna leave. You know what I mean? So it's easy to like be like, my wife fucking sucks to somebody at like a bar, because you know you're not gonna know in 5 minutes you're gonna pay your tab and you're gonna leave. Like, it doesn't really matter. But if you're sitting there for 3 hours, and at the beginning of this 3 hours you said you hate your wife and you really don't hate your wife, in that 3 hours it's gonna come out that you really don't hate your wife. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why I like long, because it kind of gets into a groove of people that are able to be really honest. But there was a boom of that because of COVID, and it's starting to like kind of go away, to where like now you have a podcast don't mean shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everybody has a podcast, so it doesn't really matter. But so I feel like that's kind of going away, and I'm interested to see where it goes in the next couple of years, and if that hunger for wanting to hear stories and wanting to hear two people talk and wanting to is still there.
Yeah.
Or we kind of just go back to like usual.
That was cool. Social media thing.
That was a cool time that we had.
Yeah.
Where we all just sat down and talked to each other.
Okay. What?
Where we all just sat down and talked to each other for 6 years. That was cool. Glad that's over. You know what I mean?
I think it's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah, but I mean, for what it's worth, like I said, I've always been interested in that, so I'll always be doing this shit. I think it's fun. I like it. I think we could talk about this for a long time.
Probably.
Because there's a lot of things inside of this subject that are important, and also that I think a lot of people either don't know or don't think about. That's important.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's a stigma, and it bothers me that. I'll give a separate example. There was this whole campaign, and again, I'm going to pick on Christianity. There's this whole campaign. Nobody said anything publicly about the Muslim religion up until 9/11. And then there was a whole campaign about how Muslims are all murderers, and about how in their Bible, so to speak, it says that you should sacrifice yourself and that you should blow up all these people or whatever, because that's what we were being shown. It's not in there.
Right.
It says nothing. The Quran, I will continue to say this, and people, I just read it. I'm telling you, the Quran is one of the most beautifully written books on the planet. It's so beautiful. The stories in it are beautiful. It's so great. And nowhere in there does it say that. Does it say that you should take out another religion? No, nowhere in there. So there's bad apples in a certain religion. And so, like, I think that in the same way that's kind of pushed on everybody else, and that's my problem. Is that if people were to do research on their own or figure it out on their own or whatever, you can believe whatever you want. I don't really care. I'm not going to tell you to believe a certain thing. But your own opinion but your attacks on other religions or other spiritual walks or whatever better be accurate. Because if they're not, then now all you're doing is the same thing. You're telling me to hate this certain group of people that there's no reason for me.
Right.
You're telling me to not believe in this certain thing that you're not giving me a reason not to. And in my opinion, on all the research I've done in different religions and time I've spent in other religions, I would say there are differences, but I would say it's pretty close to every religion. So it's really, in my opinion, it really doesn't matter, because as long as, and this is for a long time, this has always been my thing, as long as your spiritual walk or way of life is pushing you to be a good person, to love other people, and to genuinely like do good things, that's fine with me.
Yep.
And that's all it should be.
Don't be an asshole.
It shouldn't be, well, you're doing all the things that my religion says you should, but you're not saying this particular word, or you're not believing in this particular person or whatever.
Right.
Am I doing all the things that you would do? Okay, so then why does it matter? Why are we having this argument? Sorry, that was a side tangent. But like I said, there's a lot of things that go into it that, like, I think we should talk about at another time, because we're kind of almost out of time.
Okay.
So, last licks. Anything else? You have 15 minutes.
I don't really have anything else because my bladder is screaming at me.
One of these days, you're going to be able to get through a whole podcast.
One of these days. I'm betting after January because I have an appointment in January. So please hold.
So I want to throw something in here just because I think it's funny.
Okay, sure.
This was in my notes. And I thought it was funny. Okay. Did you know that the ingredients for pumpkin spice is actually ritualistic spices for protection?
No, but that's pretty accurate. Also, margarita is pretty cleansing.
Yeah. Well.
Sacred.
Yeah.
Sacred. That's a girl protection. Anyways, no, I just think like Hollywood's got it wrong.
I went on a whole side tangent.
Did you?
I'm sorry. No, I feel like fine. I did. I feel like I spent the whole time like going the opposite way of what.
No, that's okay. That's okay. That's like you gave a lot of the history, which is what I also wanted, because like there was so much push and pull between things and witches being burned, and really in reality boiling down to it is just educated people who have different beliefs than the people who were all the rage at the time and in control, and it's another way to control
The
us
narrative.
and control the narrative and keep us in this matrix.
Yeah.
Because once you're awakened, you can't go back in the box. I mean, you can choose to live in that and be your own demise, but at that point, you're on your own demise. As an awakened person being outside of the matrix, you have the power of choice. You have the power of intention. You have the control to control your life. And for all of a lot of us out there living in, the powerless perspective of I can't control my life. Well, what awarenesses are you bringing to those cycles in your life? Like if you're living in poverty and you blame that on the system and it's paycheck, yes, by all means, that is part of the system we are living in. But there are like awarenesses you can bring to yourself, education, otherwise, to get yourself living in an abundant lifestyle. It's not just about vibing at that frequency, though, like frequencies and weather and the moon and the planets and all of that play a huge system. So if you get educated in those systems, you have a better system in place for yourself. Looking at your life, boiling it down to, okay, what's going on in the sky? What would be making me highly emotional right now? Is this a good time to start off something completely fresh? Or should I write it out a couple of days before I'm a raging bag of not hormones, but like just a raging bag of emotions, because water affects our system, which affects the moon because the water plays on the moon. The moon plays on the water. Like, it's just awarenesses you're bringing to yourself that is opening up your opportunities tenfold.
I have, I said this to somebody the other day. I have a thought that I've talked about a couple times of magic, to where I'll condense this. It's a long rant, but I'll condense it to where, like, we believe in magic. Everybody believes in magic in some way or another. Yeah. Right? We just don't call it magic.
Right.
Everybody believes in it. If you say, no matter what your religion is, if you say, man, it'd be really nice if I could find $1 today and $1 shows up, you go, wow, that was magic. Even if you don't believe that magic is real, you believe magic is real, right? So there are ways to manipulate things in a magical way in your life. And if you don't look at it as this silly, goofy thing that witches, or whatever you want to call it, do, and see it as just a good practice to have, then I think it helps your life in a way of you stop thinking of things as such a black and white thing. Like there's obviously you know this, but there's a ritualistic aspect of the solstices, to where most pagan religions would say that each solstice starts a new cycle, right? So everything that happened the previous cycle is dead, gone, can't affect it, you can't do anything about it. We're moving forward into the next cycle, right? Not only with your life, your finances, your children, but you as a person are in a different cycle than you were the last one. So there's a ritual in there Norwegian, I think. I'm pretty sure it's a Norwegian ritual. Correct me on that if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is. But where you write down modern way of doing it, you write down all the things that you wanted to change, that you want to be different. Write it down. They do a horse or something, horse or a donkey, I can't remember. Kind of like Burning Man.
Yeah.
Big one.
Okay.
Everybody from the town, the villages, comes in with these pieces of paper of all these things that they want different and change. They throw them, they light the huge donkey on fire, right? And it's fucking huge. And then that symbolizes all the stuff that happened last season. And it's gone. This is what we're moving forward
with. You're letting go.
Puts it up into the next cycle. That is magic in a way. I'm separating it for people that don't believe that. I believe that. But that's magic.
I mean, it's a form of magic.
You're letting the universe know that you're past what happened and you're asking for help on what's going to be. And not only that, but it's a community thing. It's not, and I believe, me and you have talked about that aspect of it too. I think community is a big part of it. And I think is a big part of your wellness in the world. And it's a community thing. Like everybody understands this is what we do, and they do it at the beginning, and they do it at the beginning and at the end of each year. So all 4 cycles, and then at the beginning and end of each year. And it's one of those things where, like, again, drawing parallels of other religions, it's one of those things of like, we see prayer, or Christians see prayer as like this thing of like, not to put words in people's mouths, but they see it as we have the monopoly on the phone line, to where prayer is the only way you can get anything up there into the universe is through prayer. But that's the same aspect. That's the same thought process as prayer. It's just in a different way. It's a different way of life. There are also aspects of Nordic religions that deal with ruins, which is a big form of magic. It's putting your stamp on the earth and who you are and when you were born, how you were born, where, like, all these things, and it's identifying your personal power in the world into a ruin, which is normally in that religious context of Nordic religions, normally is a symbol. So, like, you've seen the symbol thing for like Jesus with the arrow up, down, the little thingy. Yeah. So it's kind of like that. But it's set in a way. Everybody's different.
Yeah, I've seen different runes, and then I've even seen like a sigil maker now floating around on the TikTok where you can make your own boards of protection.
Sigils are fucking nuts, man. Like I have that one. That one's for Gabriel, the archangel.
Nice.
Because there's a lot of different connotations to that of why I got that tattoo, but that's fucking cool. But yeah, I fucking love sigils. They're awesome. Anyway, but same basic concept. And that is owning your personal power, which isn't necessarily in that religion, or religion's a bad word. It's not. It's a community culture. That was the word I was looking for. In that culture, it's not like a magic in like a Dragon Ball Z like hot kind of way. It's like your personal magic.
Yeah.
So like my ability to, I would like to think that I'm pretty good at this, and tell me I'm not. But my ability to naturally be around people and put them in a good mood and be understanding, that is a power I have. That's different from everybody else. That would be my power that I would own in that. You know what I mean? That would be my magic.
Yeah.
That I can that I can touch people.
Grounding empathy.
Yeah. Yep. And so like, anyway, so I said all that to say that like, even in that context, the idea of magic is different, to where I feel like trickle down to American culture, we've kind of watered it down to this silly thing, this silly like magician pull a rabbit out of a hat thing.
Yeah.
When I think that is the closest explanation I can get to my own feeling of what magic is in the universe. Is that it's not a silly like, and even in my understanding of like, I hate that word, which culture is like, is that it's not a silly thing. It's what's inside of you. It's what you put out into the universe. It's how you're able to manipulate. That sounds like a bad word, but in a positive way, to manipulate the things around you in a positive way, in a positive outcome. Like, and
it makes it happen for you.
There is magic in that, and there is like, people can, and again, I'll stop. But again, people say this in such a negative way, but again, I don't understand why it really matters, other than that we're nitpicking other people's lives. But if let's say, and I have different ritualistic tendencies when it comes to stuff like this, but let's say the solstice thing, right? And I write down a list. And my list is protection and prosperity, right? And I put it up. I set on fire, put it up, right? What's the harm in me doing that?
Oh, okay. When you boil it down like that, it's just like even thinking about like moon rituals. Like the new moon is for new beginnings. The full moon is for releasing and letting go. So in the beginning of the month, when the new moon is approaching, you want to bring awarenesses to all the new projects that you want to accomplish till the full moon. And it's living in those cycles. That's where the magic lies, because the magic is you doing and being in action for your life. You're not leaving it to circumstance. You're taking the rituals, the time to say, okay, this month, this is my month. I'm going to be abundant. I'm going to tackle my debt in a different way. This time I'm gonna, and build a plan around it. And you don't do it all in that one sitting, because trust me, you'll wreck yourself and burn out before you even start. But it's like you take that whole week of the new moon to sit down and think, okay, what new things do I want to start this month? And a lot of it has to boil down to, what other planets are going on in the sky. And if you're really working in that, like that knowledge and depth of it, but you can even just the basics. Okay, I want to work on my abundance this month. Okay, so I'm going to set this week to really dive into a budget practice that I'm not 100% about, but I want to learn. And put that into action. Then you have 2 following weeks to really work through that, and then come back for your full moon practice and be like, okay, what worked in this month around abundance and this new debt practice?
What can we adjust for next
time? What can I look at and like, oh, what worked? I'm going to keep practicing that. What didn't work? I'm going to let that shit go. Or like coming up onto the full moon and just sitting in a heart of grief. Take care of yourself first and foremost. Give yourself a self practice. But that, like, the magic in that is finding the practices that work for you and that really align with your life. That's the magic. You can do it in anything. You can be a kitchen witch and be a fucking queen. Sourdough, fucking herbs, fucking anything. You can invite anyone over anytime, because you always have like that kitchen ready to go. That's your magic space. Like, so it's just like with the heart full of grief and shit, and working with the full moon is like, take care of yourself. Then, okay, look at this month and all that grief that you went through. what was in your control? Like, those are the questions you should be asking. And then it's just like, okay, this was in my control. Everything else wasn't. Let's get the fuck off of it and let's kick up another, like, we have a full week to release this shit and let go. And then next week we got the new moon rolling in and we can roll in again.
That is a big part that people, and I'm not saying it's easy. It took me a long time to do it, but that is a big part that I think people need to be more focused on than all this other shit. Is letting shit go. I think that is the biggest part of why most people are so unhappy, is because they're holding all this shit and they don't know how to get rid of it. They don't know how to let it go.
Set it down.
And that is probably the best thing that you can ever learn. It's that, and not that it's foolproof, but the best thing you could ever learn is to just let something. It doesn't even matter what it is. Like I said, I don't really care.
And you're not even,
it's just like, something to just let it go.
And if it's like people, places, things that are holding you in that and you can't let go of it, like, don't let go of it for them.
Do it for you.
Do it for you, because that's the biggest gift you can give yourself, is to forgive, understand, let go for yourself, because the only person suffering is you by holding on to it. And I think that's where people, like, they're going to hold on to this grudge and they're just going to sit on it until they die. And it's just like, okay, but all of that is fueling your body to just rot. Like in Hawaii and their culture, like that's the black gut. Like, it'll rot you away. Any emotion you store, like, your body keeps score of everything. And that's another, like, in my spirituality path, like, I'm a 33-year-old woman. I have a herniated disc in my lower back.
That's so crazy to me.
Like,
you're only a year older than me.
Shut up.
That's so crazy.
I know.
That's so crazy.
But it's just like, my body has kept a score. Like, I have psoriasis, and for the longest time, I swore up and down that my grandmama cursed me. Because when I used to like to just pick my scabs, and that was before psoriasis. And then one summer she was just like, you don't stop picking, God's gonna give you something to pick at. Well, and then like 2 years later, I got psoriasis, and I was like, bitch.
You should have listened.
I know, I should have. But also, I'm getting clean. No, but it's like my anger, me holding on to my anger and my emotions, because I internalize and go inward. I stuff it down. For 20 years of my life that I've had psoriasis, I haven't been processing the emotions. I've been stuffing them down. I've been fueling them, distracting them with other things.
Which has made it worse.
Which has only fueled it to continue to grow and be bad. Whereas in the last 3 years since my dad died, and I've really dived into my spiritual journey and just like being of more acceptance and leaning into things and realizing, like, I gotta work through and process things. Otherwise, if I don't, my nervous system shot.
Hurting yourself.
I'm hurting myself. Like, I'm pushing myself further than I should. And it just wrecks my system. And if you're supposed to be of one, you can't do that if you're not intentional about it. If you're not 100% got your back, like, no one else will. So, I mean, there are people who will still have your back, but they're not going to be the ones who are doing it for you when you're old and new dog, old tricks. Old dog, new tricks.
New dog, old tricks.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was my little tangent. I don't know where I started on that, but cycles.
Yeah.
Witchy woo. Honestly, when I started diving into my spirituality more, I looked for different rituals or different spaces where I could work with the moon, because I was already so in tuned and in love with it. And then, like, remembering as a kid, I loved astrology. And then I dived deeper into, like, who like my birth chart and like how it affects me just in my day-to-day, because like the sky's always shifting. It's always affecting some different area of your birth chart. And like for me in that, like that's an agreement I made. Our birth charts are when we are up in the Bismal. We make that agreement, but on our journey to Earth, like we lose that. We don't get to keep our guide, our manual, and then we also have the power of choice. So no matter what, we were sent here with a purpose, which is what is taught in many different cultures.
Yep.
We're sent here with a purpose, but in that we still have the power of choice, and you can fuck it up along the way. But realigning yourself with your birth chart, it kind of just shows you like I have a lot of eighth house placements. So that's death, rebirth, religion.
Yep.
I have all that going on, and I've been a psycho spiral of religion, death, rebirth, that kind of stuff all my life. So in like I'm a Capricorn, Mercury. So my communication, I think it's speed, but that's all like goal-oriented communication styles and accesses where I'm like going for the goalposts. I don't have a clear communication of the goalposts. We're not going. Like, and it just helps you, like, these are all just archetypes, stories long ago, bringing you into another understanding and another level or layer of onion
of yourself.
So you can play in the world. It's so beautiful.
So you're not, I attribute it, I agree. I attribute it to
I lose my
something
points.
That's fine. Easily. That's fine. I attribute it to like the difference, like we were talking a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago. But I attribute it more towards like our parents moving through the world and us moving through the world. When you have that understanding, of like, oh, these things mean this, or like, oh, I come from this, or I have like these dualities in me based on whatever your birth chart, whatever form of that, it helps you move through the rest of your life better, to where you're not like our parents with their emotional maturity would hit a wall and they'd be like, well, fuck it, I don't know why I'm fucking angry, I'm just angry, this
is just who I am.
Whereas like the emotional intelligence that we have and hopefully our kids have, they'll be able to be like, oh, I'm angry because of this, okay, I need to deal with this. In the same way as that, as it helps you move through the world of like, God, today seems really oh, that's right, okay, like, you know what I mean?
Like, not saying we're gonna blame our shittiness towards people because we're in a full moon, but it can also explain where you're feeling different tension and disturbance, emotional, body-wise, in your body. And if you're someone who's not in the healing process of being able to breathe through that feeling, like, you're gonna react before you can even process that you need to breathe. And like, oh shit, okay, so you have an awareness around your habits or your emotional habits around the full moon. You know you're high edge, you know you're easily agitated, irritable, whatever. So then it's just like, okay, I'm not gonna do any serious communication. If someone tries to back me into a corner, I'm gonna be like, I'm sorry, but not today, Satan.
I'm not gonna try to have a whole life discussion with my partner about the next 5 years during this time.
Right. It's just like, they're gonna say you're gonna say something to me and it's gonna hit me and I'm just gonna be like,
stop.
I'm not going to swing back because I know, like, I'm going to be in that awareness, like, hey, the next 3 days could either really be in my favor or I could have a really shitty 3 days, like, and it's how I'm going to show up in that present moment, knowing that that's a situation that could happen. It's just another level of awareness.
So I just have a point I want to make that I thought was really funny. So a long time ago, I went through like my birth chart and everything, and I thought it was really funny looking back on my life, because as you know, like I have mostly like girlfriends, like for my whole life. And I've said this for many years that I think that I would probably be a better girl than I am a guy. But also, I've been told by most women in my life that I make a pretty good guy. Unbelievably so. But you know what I found out? That I am 50-50, equal parts divine feminine and masculine. 50-50.
I should really...
No 49, 50-50 even split.
I wonder what mine is. It's probably very masculine.
It was crazy. It was crazy when I figured that out. I was like, cool, though. I was like, that makes sense. That makes sense of why. Like,
but that's why
that makes sense of why it's so easy to float. Yeah. I just thought that was funny. But I'll throw this in. I really think at some point, I'm not saying like the next podcast we do, but at some point I really think that we need to like really dive into the rest of this, because it's fun. Like I told you, I haven't really got to talk with a lot of people about this, so it's interesting to me.
That's fine.
But
we should probably set up a meeting and like
actually write some shit down.
Get in a good space for it, because I feel I'm spacey always. But
I'll throw this in here and then we can stop, because I think we're actually over right now. But so I got this. So
my 8th house is my cap.
So this, right?
Yeah.
Sigils?
Yeah.
Going back to sigils. So this is the angel sigil.
Yeah.
For Gabriel.
Yes.
Okay. Archangel Gabriel.
Okay.
I got this because it's my favorite part of
Legion.
As
soon as you said Archangel.
It's my favorite part of Legion. It's my favorite part of Legion because in the Bible, when they talk about Gabriel, they give him
movie.
They give him like this goody two shoes. They give him like this goody two shoes persona in the Bible.
Yeah.
When they talk about Gabriel, and Gabriel is a lot of cool shit in the Bible anyway, but Legion specifically, I love that movie. But there's a point in Legion that I got this to remind myself of that point, because I can watch that movie over and over again, and it is the point that still grabs at my heartstrings. Is that Gabriel's whole point? He goes through this whole thing of like fighting off heaven, pretty much fighting off his brother, like willing to die for this whole thing. And his whole point is that as long as there's one person that can make a difference and that has hope, all of this is worth it. Doesn't matter if I have to go against my brother, my father, all of heaven. As long as there's one person in the world that has hope or can be hope, then all of this is worth it. And every time I watch that movie, that always pulls at my heart, because I'm like, that should be the point.
Do you have that movie?
Legion?
Yeah. Can you bring it over so I can steal it for a week or two?
Yeah.
I want to watch that again.
I can't watch it anymore anyway.
Stop it. We're gonna leave.
I can't watch it anymore anyway. I don't have a DVD player.
Oh. Okay.
So you can keep it for as long as you want. Okay. Anyway, but like, okay, so like that.
Yeah.
So I got that because of that, right? But then I was thinking about the ruins thing. And
they're so pretty.
I have
so pretty.
And I have ruins in a way for myself for the same reason as that.
Yeah.
That I was gonna get at some point. But I was going to make a point to the thought of that, of like, it's all reminders. Like I said, that in the Norwegian culture, it's basically you owning yourself. Like, your ruins are you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so, like, the ones that I picked are for me, and they're reminders in that way of, like, certain aspects. Like, there's one for the goddess, which is, for me, remembering, like, there's something. Like, there's something else, and that femininity in me of, like, embracing that and not, like, pushing it down of, like, you can't have that
stuffing down your feminine.
Yeah. And then, like, there's a thing for protection that I have in there, and then there's a thing for magic, and then there's thing for the earth, which is my grounding. And it's just things that, like, are for me to accept my own thing,
your own life.
Yeah. And I push in the same thought processes as the magic thing. I push that that's part of it. It's not the symbols themselves. It's not that.
No, it's your belief in it.
It's your belief in it.
It's the power of believing that it's there. That makes it a thing.
Yeah.
That's why everyone tells you in manifesting, you're envisioning, when you're manifesting, you're not supposed to be in this, like, it's already done.
Yep.
It is because I say it is. Like, I'm getting this.
Yep.
And it's not, oh, like, I'm gonna manifest, I'm gonna quit this vape, right? I've already quit. I have that ease. Like, I'm gonna feel so good in my body because I'm no longer doing this thing. Like, it's that commitment to it. It's not, well, I'm maybe gonna give this up, or how I have been doing it, because I'm not manifesting it.
Or if somebody does this thing for me, I'll give it up.
Yeah.
Or this thing has to happen for me to give it up.
It's not a contingent basis. You're living in the vision of it already being yours.
And you're putting your power in it.
Yep.
Of, like, no, there's no other option. This is it.
Yep.
This is what's going to happen. And I believe, if you believe or not, I believe that just that mindset, it'll make it happen.
Absolutely.
It may not be this year, it may not be next year, but it will happen because you're already seeing it done and happening. So when things come into your life, your instinct reaction is going to be like, well, of course I make this choice. You know what I mean? Because this gets me to this, gets me to here. Whereas, like, if you didn't already think that was done, you would get opportunities and be like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if that's the right thing for me.
Stop it. You're pretty.
Meanie. Anyway. But yeah, we should talk about this again at some point. For sure.
Okay. We'll do.
For sure.
So this is dropping tomorrow, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I have one with my nephew and my dad, and then I have one with Cheryl after that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll have at least 4 by next Tuesday. Yeah. It'll be fun. Anyway, thanks for talking.
You're welcome. I was just looking at the calendar.
Yeah.
As if you'll have 4. We'll probably wait till after the new year, huh?
Yeah, I was going to say that we can probably just wait until after the new year. Then we can have a new year one.
Sure.
Where we're excited and we can talk about that.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Thanks for watching.
Everyone. Now that you've caught us dabbling. Bye! Happy